Good evening, YouTube world, and welcome to Forget About It Junk Removal Channel. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. So today we got a special guest coming in here from North Cal. His name is Isaac Cadillo, and his company is Junk Gone Hauling and Junk Removal. What's up, brother? How you doing today, bro?
Hey, what's up, Paul? I'm doing pretty good. It's been a long week so far. We've been out here hauling and been everywhere. I've been getting home like around like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Oh, nice, man. Want to just say what's up in the chat. We got Miguel in the
All
house.
right.
What's up, Miguel? How you doing tonight, brother?
What's going
So,
on?
want to hear the story, man. Want to hear the background story. So, how long have you been up and running in the junk removal industry, and how did you find it?
So it's kind of crazy because I got a lot of paths to lead to this point, but it wasn't really planned, to be honest. I was actually going back. If I backtrack, I was going down the law enforcement route. Went to school for administration of justice, got my units, had some mentorships, went on some ride-alongs, did private security, armed security, executive protection, did middle management, and then ended up getting a position with the NASA Police Department. Worked with them for a little bit until I got laid off, and then I ended up getting an office, and for about 7 months just trying to figure it out, dabbling in a few different things. And then this kind of arose. My pops actually brought to me, hey, maybe you should think about starting a business, yada yada. During that time, I was actually trying to get my real estate license, and then he brought up the junk industry. I really didn't know too much about it, and then I started doing some research, just like everybody else on YouTube. And then I seen Matt and JoJo, and then I kind of seen the vision. I didn't really know too much about it, but I was like, okay, but I still wasn't really sold on it, just because, to be honest, I didn't really want to work with my hands. Just because when I was growing up, did a lot of odd jobs, mowed a lot of lawns, seen my dad and everybody else, do home service type of work, electricians, and doing gardening services and things like that. So I kind of grew up kind of having experience with it, but I didn't really see it as a profession until one day I was on the 101 coming from San Jose, seen a bunch of trash everywhere on the side of the roads, and it kind of just clicked. And then, yeah, now I'm here.
Well,
Now I'm here.
speaking of Sonoma Strong, Matt and JoJo Vic, they're actually in the chat right now. He says,
All
Callie in
right.
the building. What's up, guys? How you doing tonight? And I think that's kind of the common denominator for everybody that I brought on my channel. I always ask, one of the questions is somebody that inspires you in the junk removal industry. And I think every single person mentioned Matt and JoJo first, and they all found them on YouTube, and including myself, same story there. So,
Yeah.
Isaac, how long has it been that you've been up and running?
So, it would be 2020 was official, where we got the LLC in December. And then we officially launched that next month live in January. So everything actually happened within like 2 weeks, from getting the name, the logo, and just kind of figure everything out. It just happened so fast. And now we're going to be going on year four. And we're talking about the calendar pretty soon. I'm going to be going into year four. Actually, would be December. Would be,
Very,
yep, yep. So year four.
very nice, man. So you're like an OG in the industry. How
Yep.
old are you?
So now I'm 29. I'm gonna be 30 on the 8th of November.
Oh,
So I think I just turned 26, somewhere around there. Just like turned 26 when this kind of got started, and yeah, now I'm gonna be 30. But I think the amount of work and the labor, maybe I'm 40. We'll see. I don't know. 35. We'll see. I put a lot of time in, and I think my first 6 months in the industry, or maybe four, did 100,000 pounds in
wow.
tonnage. Yeah, yeah, man, it was a lot. It was a great start.
Hell yeah. So just so everybody knows, Junk Gone Hauling, and where are you located?
So I'm actually from Gilroy, California, um, but I live now in Hollister, California. But it's the same. It's like 12 minutes away. Right there, we're like 30 minutes southbound of San Jose, California. So the South Bay. So I represent the South Bay.
And how far is like your service area? Like, what's your radius, would you say?
So right now, I would say a radius. Let's just say 55 miles, respectively. Around 55. Yeah. Um, I service a pretty wide range from Hollister, Gilroy, Morgan Hill, San Jose, Saratoga. We're just in Santa Clara, Los Gatos. So we pretty much go where the money's at. But a lot of these opportunities come from referral realtors, and they give us they hire us or they refer us to their clients or their family and friends, and then that's kind of how we started, is really spreading through word of mouth. And um, now it's a lot more consistent. I think right now I feel like I'm in summer, to be honest. Yeah, definitely. We've been hitting some pretty good numbers.
Now, when you first got into it, did you go? What was the first step you did? Did you go and look how far the dumps were, the transfer stations, like, or you didn't really plan that out from the beginning?
So do you like Paul or Polly?
It doesn't matter. My guys in New York call me Paulie. Out
All
on
right.
Cali, they usually call me Paul. Whatever you want to call me.
I'm gonna call you Polly. I like
Uh,
that. That's cool, man. All
Forget
right,
about it.
Polly, Polly. So, no, honestly, we went into this blind, man, and to really put things into perspective, I was running low on funds, and I was really at the point where I was like, hey, I didn't. I completed the academy, the federal academy, and I had some friends, some buddies that I went to high school with and college, and we all separated. Be like, hey, man, try Sacramento, apply for this agency, that, this and that, and I was just like, man, I don't want to go through this process again. And really, what ended up happening was I just put my back against the wall, to answer your question. I had maybe like 3 grand left. And during that time, I was buying and flipping stocks, and I got a couple good hits with the crypto, and I made some money, and it kind of held me off because I was really just trying to be like, hey, you know what? We had no, me and my girl had no kids, not married yet, but I was like, you know what do we got to lose, or what do I got to lose? Really, I'm taking all the risk, but ended up calling up a buddy. He's like, hey, I was like, hey, you got any trucks? And he's like, what are you looking for a truck? I was like, man, like, I think if I get a truck, I always told myself that if I had a truck, I would never be without work, because I was always debating with my pops, and I was like, man, if I had a truck, yeah, yada, blah, blah, blah. I was just talking smack, and I ended up going over there. And I seen a 2500, the only 2500 on the lot, and this was during the time of the chip shortage, and all the 1500s were like 68 to 100,000, out the door. This was a used 2018 Dodge Ram, 2500, 2018, one owner, for like 55,000. And I went in there, I walked in, I was like, I talked to him, I was like, hey, what is it going to take for me to get in this truck? And he's like, well, let's sit down. And, we did the numbers. My credit was solid at the time. And I was like, look, dude, I'll do whatever it takes to get in this truck right now. So he ended up buying my car from me for a pretty good price, for like 14 grand. Traded it in. Um, didn't have really that much equity to roll over. And I got in the truck. And my girl actually gave me a call. This was like a few weeks before Christmas. She's like, Isaac, where you at? I didn't want to tell her. She's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at the dealership. She's like, I'll be right there. She came, and I just told her, I was like, hey, man, do you believe in me? And she's like, of course I do. Then trust my decision on what I'm doing. And that's, my dad came, and, I didn't really know exactly where I was going to go, but I just knew, I was like, if I have this truck, I just never would be without work. And then 2 weeks later, Junk On was created. And
Wow.
then, yeah, it was pretty crazy, because I had $1,500 left too. And he gave me 3 months, um, 3 months extension to payment, for my first payment. And that, it was sink or swim, man.
That
That's
is
really what I.
That's
Yeah,
some
it was
story
crazy.
right there, bro. That, like, you went all in on that and kind of like on a limb kind of thing. And, that's got to
Yeah,
be scary with, only 3 grand and jumping in to a business that you really didn't know much about. But I guess that is the way to do it. There is
yeah.
no, you're 100% going in and you're going to make it work. And, that shows that you got the hustle and that you're willing to take the risk. And obviously it came to be a good move for you.
It did. It definitely did, Polly.
So let me ask you, what did you do with the truck? Now, did you go and get a dump trailer? Like, how did you start off?
So okay, so my buddy, he lived out in Hayward, and he knew I was just getting started. We did some work together. We did some armed security together, and he's like, "Hey man, I got a junk call for you." Ended up being my first customer. Went up to Hayward. Made no money on it. I was just trying to get some content, get the ball rolling, and went up there. And I was actually borrowing my pops' utility trailer. So it was a landscape utility trailer, just with a little 2 wheels, and didn't really do much, but just transport some small stuff, debris, and ended up using that. Did the job, and then we ended up going to the landfill and used it the first time. I was like, dang, like it's
Well,
kind
let
of
me
tough.
ask you this: how far was the landfill from you? Because obviously you didn't look that up or anything. Like that could have been another bad move
Uh,
right there. Would it have been if it
I,
was like 50 miles away or something?
yeah, I actually was. Because I came back down to haul it to where I'm from to dump it. Yeah. So it was kind of crazy, but one more thing, and this is kind of where I flipped the switch. I ended up getting my first hit off of Nextdoor, and it was my first big job. Right, it was $500, and this guy was moving, and it was crazy because where I'm at, it was kind of more in the rural, like kind of in the sticks, I guess you could say. It was like 20 minutes out from the city, deep in the hills, and it just so happened to be on the top of the hill with a narrow road. So this was my first big job, and I charged $500 for it, and we did it, and I lost a bunch of money. I lost money. I paid my boy. I hired him. I paid my boy cash. It's like, hey man, I just need some help. I'm trying to get this thing rolling, and he helped me out. And this is my pivotal moment. Was we got to the landfill, right, and then we had mixed stuff, concrete, tool, like just metal, just a bunch of it was crazy. And I didn't know what I was really doing, how to charge. I was just going with the flow, and we got to the landfill, and I seen all these guys with the big trucks too. I mean, I had a pretty good sized truck, but these guys had these other trailers with. I noticed they were like tilting up, and I remember I called up my dad. I was like, "Dad," he's like, "What?" I was like, "Hey, I'm at the landfill. What are these trailers that lift up? Like, what are they?" He's like, "Oh, those are dump trailers." And I noticed everybody was out in like 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and I was there for an hour, trying to unload all this concrete and the debris. It was crazy. And then that was it. I was like, "Oh hell no!" So I ended up getting my credit card, and then I asked him, I was like, "Hey, where'd you get your trailer at?" He's all FGM Trailers. Shout out to Felipe over there if you guys need a trailer down in San Jose. And I was like, "Hey, Felipe, my dad bought a trailer from you. Do you, I was like, do you have anything like this?" Came down and maxed out my credit card, 10 grand, boom. And then my buddy thought I was crazy. He's like, "Dude," I was like, "Dude, I'm doing it. I need it. We're not going to make no money without this dump trailer." And at the time, again, I started with during inflation, and I think there was a shortage even on like metal and things that are like just on the heavy machinery. So they didn't really have much of an inventory, and I was only able to get the 6 by 10 by 2 feet with the 2 feet walls. So I was like, dang, like it was all I could afford too, because everything was inflated. Everything went from 5 grand or 5.9 to like 8, 9, 9,000 or 11,000 out the door, and it was everything I could get. So we ended up just building the walls up 2 feet, so it was a 6 by 10 by 4, and that was it.
Very
And
cool.
I think my first month and a half or 2 months in, I did 20.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to shout out a couple people in the chat. We got a
Okay.
bunch of my arm wrestling friends popping in. We got the Schmo.
All
What's
right.
up, Schmo? We got Sonoma Strong says, "I respect the hustle, brother." Hell yeah. We got
Appreciate you guys.
Devin's forearm. Yo, yo, what's up, brother? How you doing? Love it. All my arm wrestling friends are popping in. That's pretty cool, man. Going to teach them a new industry to get into and all. So this leads me to my next question. Since we got all these new guys that aren't actually in the junk industry in here, what is a tip that you would give to somebody starting off in the junk removal biz after all the experience that you have and the story that you just told?
A tip, um, it depends on your area, but I would say do a little research.
Yeah.
Do a little research before you jump in. Um, and you're either gonna be all in or you're not. You want to do this or you don't. And for me, putting this is hypothetically, I was just like, it was this or the coffin type of thing. At the time, I was in that survival mode, and I was like, you know what? I hated what I did anyway, and I hated that I got burned. It took me 7 years to get a position. I worked my way up in the kind of the corporate ladder, and what I was doing dealt with a lot of type A's, and I was like, dude, like I don't want to go back. I don't want to go through this process again. And yeah, that's what I would say. I would definitely say have your research done first. Know your market, right? Do your research. Is there a demand for it in your area? And if there is, then just be all in. And I know everybody's in different situations, but if you're gonna want to start a business, your why has to be big, very big.
So what I would recommend for everybody if you are interested in getting the junk removal business is I call it YouTube College, and a perfect person to start off with is Sonoma Strong Hauling. And I always tell my story and all, and my grandmother passed away, and I had to fly out to New York. I had to go help clean out her house and all. And as I was doing that, I asked the parents, I was like, she's got a lot of stuff here. Maybe there's somebody that we could call. And I just remember my mother saying, she made a few phone calls and they wanted thousands of dollars to clear out the house. And she's like, I think that's, ridiculous to pay that kind of money. So, as I'm doing the work, I just start, me being the entrepreneur I am, I start thinking, and I'm like, this is pretty easy work right here. And thousands of dollars, and I remember, my partner that runs my antique and collectible business in New York, I remember him saying that he worked with a junk removal business and, they were bringing in a lot of stuff into our store that we were able to sell. So as soon as I left there, I called over to him and I was like, yo, how's your buddy doing with the junk removal company over there? And he's like, bro, killing it. This dude makes so much money. Like, it's a great business. Why are you asking? I said, I just had to, clean out my grandmother's house. And, I heard, quotes of what they were asking. So, I go back to California. So now I go get on YouTube and the first people I find is Sonoma Strong. And I start just binge watching them, a good month or two of every single video they put out. And then, as I'm doing it, I realize they're right in my area. I see, the videos and I'm like, holy shit, that's right in my town. Like they're
Yeah.
right here. So, so I really started investigating and, I'd love when they would go to the dump and, they would have you guess how much money it was going to cost for the dump fees. And then, they would ask you how much, a full load would be. Like they would show a picture and like, how much would you charge for that?
Yep.
And I would just start, taking the guess and I was always nailing it. I was like, yo, I got an eye for this shit, and then
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, how much they're charging, like, 7.99 for a full load. And I'm like, and now I'm seeing them doing multiple loads a day. And I'm just like, oh, and I'm with the calculator and I'm like, yo, this is some money in here.
Yeah.
So then, went on from there. Next thing I'm hitting up Matt Vick, I see that he's throwing a junk expo and, Matt's like, you could buy them over the phone. And I was like, nah, bro, I want to meet you in person, man. I want to shake your hand like a man. And, so I go and I meet up with him in person and just hit it off with Matt and all. And I'm like, yo, I like this. This is, next thing I know, I'm buying a brand new NPR dump truck and,
Hmm.
he's showing me how to do everything. And, so that's, how I got into it. And it was all just learning everything from YouTube, just,
Yep.
you could just teach yourself everything. So, if anybody's in here and they're interested in, checking out their area, and I do remember one of the first things they always say is check your population. see what's in the area. That's a major, major
Yeah.
thing. And another person that always preaches that is Andrew Thompson. He's got a autopilot, that software, and he just sold his Jedi junk. And just turns out that being up here in the Bay Area, we got a huge population, and we actually charge one of the most across the country. And also just everything worked out. And I got to say, thank God watching their videos, because then I looked where the dumps were and the transfer station. Next thing I know, I'm literally two exits in each direction. Is one's a transfer station, one's a dump. So I'm like, oh, I'm in the perfect area for this. And also YouTube is a very, very good resource to learn and kind of just teach you the way to do everything. But I gotta say, brother, I respect your hustle, man. It shows the true entrepreneur. And a lot of people that I see these days, they come up with all these plans, but they don't put them into action, and that's
Mhm.
like 99% of the people. They got so many great ideas. I'm one of those. In all the businesses that I got, I just jump in. Granted, I go and I do my research and I learn everything I can, but I'm recognizing the same thing in yourself. And to know that you only had $3,000 in your bank account, and you took that risk, and obviously it made sense. And also a lot of respect for you like that, bro. I always respect entrepreneurs. I love hearing the stories, and there's so many different ways to come into this business. And I like hearing this whole background story and all. So
Thank you, Paulie. I appreciate you.
I want to learn, how did you kind of market yourself at first? Was it all organic growth? Did you go the way of the website? Like, how did that all happen?
So, like just like you said, kind of watching Matt and JoJo's YouTube channel with Snow Strong Hauling, and a few other people as well. I don't think Andrew was as active as he was the past year and a half, 2 years on YouTube, but they would always bring up post on your local community pages and things like that next door and word of mouth, door hangers, things like that. How I got started, I really did listen to them when it came to the SEO thing, and I spent a lot of time on that, right? But when I first started, I just posted my landing page on Google, and it wasn't anything fancy. I paid maybe a couple $100 for a landing page I made, and you know, and then I just started posting on Nextdoor of just the truck and the trailer, or just the trailer. Hey, junk removal and hauling services. And then I started posting the before and after photos on Nextdoor, and I just started getting calls. It was a little slow in the beginning. It was popping up here and there, and then I started getting the Google hits, and then it was Google and Nextdoor. But really, Nextdoor was really, at the time, was pretty powerful for me, and it really gave me the push and the boost I needed to get things rolling and to really start showing people like, hey, like give us a call, like we're the guys, because right here where I first started, they didn't really have nothing like this, so I kind of came in and um, took advantage of that, and I just was like, hey, you know what, we're going to be the best service possible to the customers. We don't have everything top notch. We did come in with our hats or uniforms. I had that. I slapped the magnets on the truck. I guess the ghetto setup at the time.
Let me ask you,
Um,
Isaac, were you a tech savvy kind of guy? Were you like a social media guy before this, or no?
no, I was off of social media for like 7 years. Like when I graduated high school, because I knew I wanted to be a police officer. And a lot of the guys that I talked to, like, hey, be careful with that. You know,
Yeah.
be careful with social media. So I was like, you know what? I was all gun ho about that at the time. I was like, I'm just gonna get off social media anyway. You know what I mean? And I was like, I just felt like, hey, you know what? I got my girl. We're good. I wasn't really like, oh, I need to post all my life on social. And when I started the business, I decided, I was like, hey, man, I got to get on social media, Instagram, and I got to make a Facebook. And that's kind of how it went about. I was uncomfortable at first to start talking on the stories and make videos. I just kind of learned as I went, man, trial and error. And I look back at all the other things I did, like my old content, was like, dang, like it didn't really look the best. But as you do this every day, day in and day out, you're gonna get better. And it was really just day and night, man. You know,
I'm
drove my
surprised that
girlfriend crazy.
I'm surprised you're saying this, brother, because I look at you and I see your social media, and I would think that you were a social media guy. You obviously conduct yourself very well, at networking and just watching the videos that you're putting out. It's a lot better than the average guy. So that's why I'm a little like shocked to hear this,
Yeah.
man. I would have thought you came from a social media background, but Miguel
No.
says, shout out Isaac, Vanilla Gorilla, sheesh. Where'd you get that nickname, brother?
um, I don't know. I'm gonna be. I don't actually. I don't even really remember, to be honest. Um, it just kind of stuck, because I like to lift weights just like you, Paul. I see you're always hitting the iron, and I grew up and always being athletic, and I suffered a few injuries. I kind of let myself go a little bit the past few years, and then I finally got back on the horse, and I actually just got back in my fitness game, because I know it's important, and I guess I was like, I don't know, man. I'm the vanilla gorilla. You know what I mean? Like, because they call, Guido. You should know Guido's gorilla.
Yep.
Are you familiar with Jersey Shore?
Oh, of course, bro. I used to hang out with those guys. They're
It,
from
it
my area and all. And,
so
we used to, I used to live down in Miami and, they
yeah,
used to come and kick it with us over there all the time. And everybody used to say that me and Ronnie were like twins and all that.
yeah. So that's kind of I was in at the time. I think I was in high school when they were popular, like 2010, 2011, 2013, and I just loved the Jersey Shore, and they would always call them gorillas. And I'm
Yeah.
actually I'm Sicilian as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm mixed, but I do have Italian blood in me. And I don't know, I just they said gorilla, and I was like, I'm just call myself the vanilla gorilla. And it just kind of stuck, man. It just stuck, and I just leave it there.
Hell yeah.
Um, but vanilla gorilla, because I remember when I changed it, my cousin was like, "Oh, you changed your username. I really liked the vanilla gorilla." So I just changed it back. I was like, it just stuck.
Well, I gotta say this, bro. We didn't like when Jersey Shore came out, man,
Oh,
because
okay.
it went from we were I'm from New York, New Jersey, and all, and back then everybody before Jersey Shore, everybody be like, oh, Sopranos, fucking Goodfellas, and all.
Yeah.
Now Jersey Shore, everybody's like, oh, you a fist pumper, and I'm just like, come on, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they were kind of like, when I used to be out there, we were kind of really known out there in the club scene and all that. And they kind of were like the little hang around dudes, they were nobody then. And then all of a sudden they get on this TV show and now, they were like the big thing and all that. But, we never kind of looked at them like that. We kind of looked at it as like the little hang around dudes and, but yeah, no, we like them though too. They're cool
The
guys, man. They were fun to
the
talk.
GTL days, the Gymtown Laundry.
I gotta tell you, bro, they got murdered down in Miami, bro. When we used to live down there, they hated them, and they would
Oh my
always
god.
all the local guys. They would show up at the clubs they were at, and they were getting in fights, that whole
Yeah.
season and everything. But if you look back, they were always in a Lambo. They would that was my car, bro. They used to use my car for some of the shots, and they did a few photo shoots with my car and all that, and
Oh,
yeah, I used to live down in South Beach, and we used to run into them on the road, and they all knew me and all that. So, yeah, if you
check
look
you
back,
out.
I was all over that show, man. Like a lot of times we were in the clubs and everything. You'd see me in there a bunch of times and all.
Yeah, you were the real Polly. Was it Polly Shore?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You're the OG Polly. You're the real Polly. They're living your life. All
that's
right.
funny, man. That's funny. So, I want to find out, man. So, what made the big change? Like when did your business just start blowing up? Was it like, was it the organic growth with the yard signs and word of mouth, or was it more when the SEO started kicking in? And how long did that take for that to start kicking in?
I'm gonna tell you this, right? So, like everybody else, they hear about this and that. I hired a couple people off Fiverr, but in my area, nobody. It was not tapped, right? From in my radius, in 30-mile radius, it wasn't tapped. And I don't know what it was. I guess it just was my name or whatever. I guess, and then it just wasn't tapped at the time. And all the big boys, because they had Junk King Monterey's right here. Then we got Santa Cruz, 1-800 got junk Santa Cruz. They got Junk King San Jose. 1-800 got junk San Jose. But this was actually out of the service area. So, and this area is growing. It's actually grown like quadruple since I started, especially Gilroy. I mean, it's just the area is just growing because everybody's moving southbound. And I know I got a little off track, but really what it was is I think it was just the perfect storm timing. And I just knew when I seen the logo and it was like boom, 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 boom. I was like, I want this color, this color. And in my mind, I was like, it was all about branding. For me, it was just, I want to build a brand. I want something to break necks, and the marketing. I just knew like, we got to stand out. We got to be just different. And
How long was it until that you got your truck wrapped and all that kind of
it,
stuff?
all that just happened. I was doing magnets for the longest time. And it literally this past year, I actually got two dump trailers my first year. So
Okay.
I had the Iron Panther 6x10x4, and then 7 months later I got the PJ, which is the 7x14x4, and then I spent $2,000 on the wall extensions. So it was about 25 yards total, and what I would do is use that for the bigger jobs. But to answer your question, I immediately popped up on Google, number one, right? And then I knew, I was like, okay, the Google reviews. I was like, okay, let's get some Google reviews. And then all the customers I got on Nextdoor, I was like, hey, you know what? If you leave me a positive Google review or a Nextdoor recommendation, of course we're going to give you 5-star service, right? We're going to do the job. We're going to give you a 5-star service, but I'm also, we'll give you a slight little discount if you leave us a positive recommendation or a Google review. And that's kind of how I got going. And then people were just sharing, sharing, sharing. And then really what was a pivotal moment, I get a little emotional about it sometimes, because there was a Facebook post I did. I don't know if it was last summer or the summer before. And I did this job, and I posted it in one of the community groups, right? And I checked later that day, and it had like, I don't know how many shares, 200 plus likes, and just everybody was commenting positive feedback about their experiences with junk on hauling and myself and the team. And they had nothing but good things to say. And I really think that the reputation and just all the people that we helped and I helped, because I did help out a lot of people, um, really just kind of gave us a name, and these are the guys. These are the guys. Like even when people call us up, like, hey, people, I was trying to stay away from this, but now people just call like, hey, is this Isaac? We want to speak to Isaac with Junk on, you know, and they're like, hey, we hear you guys are good, and we want to work with you guys.
We got a question from Mass Dupe Addict. He says, "Did you all need to get CDL?" No, so I could answer that one for him.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need a CDL. I actually just got an NPR dump truck, and the beautiful thing about that is it works with a regular license. You don't have to, and that's one of the added benefits, because if you have to start paying somebody with a CDL license, the salary would be a lot higher and would cut into the profits and all that. So if you are interested in getting in and coming in with that dump truck or a dump trailer, you do not need a CDL. You just, you're all good with a regular license and all. But one of the major things that I'm learning is, when you get these employees and all, you want to check their driving record, because I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys notice, but, getting commercial insurance, especially us being in California, it is very, very pricey, especially when you're first getting your first DOT number. We're talking like, could be from 10,000 to 20,000 a year, mattering
Yep.
on, few factors and all. So that is something mass deep that you masked up that you really want to know, from the beginning, is kind of check what the commercial insurance is going to be. I know in a couple other states like Florida and Louisiana are even more money, and we were talking 30, 40,000 per truck. per year for insuring it. So definitely one of the setbacks in the business and all, but a regular license works well with all the MPRs and the dump trailers.
Yep.
So okay, so how many employees do you have employees now,
So
or are you guys running everything
so
yourself?
now my pops is actually in the business with me full time.
Okay.
So we have the two trucks, the box truck and the trailers. So we do have a pretty good sized fleet.
I got
So
to
we got
stop you right there. Box truck. Now, tell me, what do you think about the box truck? Is that something you would recommend for people in the beginning?
to to be honest, I wish I had the box truck a long time ago. I before I was against it, right? Because I was like, well, that's double the work and yada yada yada. Now I kind of see the benefits of the box truck, right? I
Can you give
like
me
it.
some of the benefits of it? Like,
So it would be like, let's just say you got a crew, right? Um, you don't got to worry about them driving the truck and the trailer, right? Because the truck and the trailer is great. But if someone doesn't have the best experience driving those, there's going to be an accident real quick. You're gonna have a
yeah,
hard time
right.
getting the driveways and stuff like that. So that's one benefit is you don't really got to worry about that. Two, I liked it because you can just jump in and go instead of unhitching, hitching. And three, um, it's great because you could protect items for resale.
How does it work with as far as a full load though? You know what I mean? Like, what would you charge a full load on a box truck?
Just get the square footage
And
the square footage of or the cubic square footage of what you would charge for the dump trailer. I mean, it goes based off of volume anyway,
yeah,
and how I tell my customers like, hey, I know it looks a little bit different, right, from what you see, from what we see are two different things, but it's the same amount in regards to yardage. You're getting the same thing. It's just a different vehicle. And I really sell the value. Um, for us, I tell the customers like, hey, the great thing about us is, I know there is a lot of competitors out there. Not trying to bash other companies, but if you were to call, Big Blue, right, their size equipment, plus they're going to charge you X amount plus this and that. With us, this is what you're going to get. You're just paying Big Blue double because you're paying for their overhead. And I could say that right now, right? Because my overhead's, it's not as big as Big Blue. Big Blue's a $500 million company. So and another reason why I like the box truck too is you could protect your items for resale plus the marketing on it. I it's already paid for itself. I swear, ever since I got everything wrapped, if we're let's just say because we got multiple vehicles, I got the box truck marketing on a high traffic area, park it at a Starbucks. I got so many jobs from that. We just did a pretty good sized job, a couple loads from that box truck. It paid for itself, paid for the wrap, and
let
and
me ask
um,
you, have you ever tried out the tracking numbers to actual see, what's bringing you in, as far as the marketing, like, Autopilot made by Andrew Thompson. That's that new software that he's got coming out. It's actually in
Yep.
beta testing right now. And when you order that, you get 5 tracking numbers. And the first thing that I did was I made a tracking number just for my truck, just for the logo. So I'm going to know exactly how many people are calling in from just seeing my truck. Then I have another tracking number for the door hangers and yard signs.
Yep.
So how about that? Have you experimented with that at
So
all?
I hit up Andrew. I know he's busy. I can't wait to use. I've been keeping in touch with him. He's supposed to give me a call because I really want to use that system, and I do, and I trust that his software is going to be tailored more for us instead of just a
So
generalized right type of software. I am using a software service right now that is, kind of like Workies. I'm using House Call Pro, but I am interested in
what
Autopilot.
can I ask you? What is the price on that, and what plan did you go with that?
So, well, for me now at this point, I pay for the CRM, which is I think it's like $70 a month. It's very
Okay.
basic. And then I'm paying like 150 for the backup call center for 60 minutes. So if I don't answer the phone, it'll go to like it'll back me up. They have a call center, it's 24-hour service. and they have my script, and they take down all the notes of the potential customer, and then it shoots me a text, or it goes to a text as well, and an email, and then I get back to the customer when I can if I don't answer, so I don't really lose that contact with the customer, because I felt that it's $150 extra plus what I'm paying, but I felt like that extra help right there with those contracted employees would definitely help me look more professional, right? And help me be able to at least not lose that customer, and it has helped. But I think Andrew's
Well,
software is going to change the game.
we got to get you connected right away, brother. So as soon as we
Yeah.
get off this, I'll put you in a group, me, you, and him. It's $50 a month that he's starting off with the beta testing, and he's actually starting beta 2 over at the Junk Expo. So that's
Hmm.
another place you'll be able to talk to him. And he's about to get the call sequencing in, I think in the next month. And that is so when you put your new clients into your logbook, you could set a time frame where it sends like a backup text, like 6 months
Yep.
from now, and we're in the area and we're offering a discount and all, just to get repeat business and all, which is just another great resource that you could use. And just the call tracking and everything else that he has with that is just amazing. And what he's doing is he's listening to the feedback from us. So if you like that call service, that's something that we would want to talk to him about and see if we could incorporate that into autopilot. And you kind of mold autopilot the way you want, and we're in this like little group where we all kind of throw ideas out, and he's very open, to trying new things out. So definitely something guys should check out. I just came an investor with autopilot. I seen everything. I believe in Andrew and all. So I just invested in, and if you invest in it, you get I think it's a couple years free of and just that alone. I mean, look at like Workies or whatever. I'm hearing it's like $2,500 a year. So an investment of like $5,000, you're already getting that money back just with getting the free software for a couple years. So
Yeah.
definitely something to check out for sure. And then
Super important.
we got Chris, I think that's Chris Gambino. Wow, I don't know if that's my boy from New York. That'd be crazy. Are you running everyday operations, Paul, with junk removal business? Not yet, man. I'm gonna be up and running January 1st. I just kind of been getting all my ducks lined up. I just got my truck. It's getting wrapped as we speak. I'm getting it all ready for the Junk Expo. I'm gonna park it right out front, and I'm actually bringing my arm wrestling table that day for all my arm wrestlers in here, and I'm gonna set it up right with the backdrop of my new logo and everything on the truck, and I'm gonna get everybody arm wrestling over at the Junk Expo when we're all done and everything. So that's another cool thing. But yeah, I'm kind of documenting everything through my YouTube. My whole I just got an office, and also I have all the videos of me going looking at different office spaces. Also, I just rented out a yard to keep the trucks in and all that. So I'm kind of going at it slow. I could have been up and running like we look at Isaac. He was up and running within 2 weeks, had everything going and all that. Where I'm probably like 4 months in here getting everything set up. But you guys got to remember, I'm running 3 other businesses day to day, so I'm not so much in a rush right now for that. Just got my uniform, my test. My shirts and the hats. Now I tried them on. Now I'm gonna send them out and get a bunch of them made and all that. So that's where I'm at with my business, and I'm learning from guys like this. I'm bringing all the top in the industry on my YouTube channel, and I'm kind of just picking their brain. And Matt and JoJo are like really mentoring me, and any questions I have, I'm hitting up Matt, and this dude is like the expert in the industry. And it just happens to be that we live in the same area. We're actually going out to dinner next week, and it's just been a great thing to have all these mentors kind of just showing me the way. And I mean, me and Isaac were on the phone the other day, and he was just pointing out things that I would have never thought, and I would have made a mistake and all. And as far as my SEO and making my domain name, he kind of put me on with that and all. So I feel blessed the way that I'm coming in with so many people helping me and guide me in the right direction and all. And it's been a fun journey. And like I said, my plan is just to kind of bring it to everybody so you guys could see the whole process of what you got to go through and all, as far as getting the DBA. And that's another question for you, brother. Do you have did you rent a yard, or do you have like a headquarters, like an office or anything that you run your
So
business out of?
so in the beginning, like I said, I don't know if I said I was renting an office for no reason, basically, just to kind of have my little privacy area where I can just go in and try to figure out what I wanted to do. And ended up turning it into the first office location. I did not have a yard in the beginning. I was parking it. I was parking it in front of the house, truck and trailer attached. I was unhitching it, hitching it up, pissing off the neighbors. I had like 21 complaints until the police department gave me a call, or I got a tag. I remember we went on a quick little vacation. I had a tag on my vehicles, and I was all pissed off. And I called the PD, and I was like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And yada yada. And they're like, "Oh, well, we got X amount of complaints." And I was like, "Well, it moves every 3 days. We were only gone for 2 days, and I have dump receipts and all that." So I was kind of going through that, and then I was parking at a family member's house. That didn't work out until I finally did get a yard, and now it's just at a storage facility right now. And then I do have a an office location in South San Jose, my address and everything. Right, I can just go in and tell them like, hey, I need this, I need that, and they keep track of all my mail, and you know,
Is that
very
something
simple.
that you recommend at the beginning, or is it one of those, if you got the funds, yeah, but it's not a necessity and you kind of could
I
grind without it until you get, some
I,
cash flow coming in and all?
I would say do it lean.
Yeah.
Do it lean, run lean, because in our business, right, we got heavy machinery. Everybody knows we got high gas and diesel costs. My truck's a diesel, and then I have the gas. Um, but hauling and things like that. Even though the loads are incorporating the average cost of the dump and all that stuff, the labor. Everything should be built in to the job, but I would say run lean. I get a virtual business address,
See
right?
that, yeah, but you got to be careful with that, bro. They're cracking down. Google's
Yeah,
cracking
no,
down
no,
on
they
that.
are. They are.
So
I
you could
agree.
go and pay for that, and then next thing you know, because they're asking for a video, they want to see
Yep.
your office set up and all, and that's something they just incorporate in the last few months. I'm finding out, and that's why I was originally going to go to virtual office, and then I heard from a few other people, a lot of the SEO guys, they're like, you're taking a risk with that. So I was like, you know what, I need it for my SEO to get that local SEO, the
Yeah.
pin drop and all. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go get the office and kind of just set myself up. And this way, once I get the employees going and all, I got like a nice meeting place for them that's got a kitchen in there and all
Uh huh.
that. So it's like, I figured, I'm just going to do this the right way and just, go all in, and kind of like, what you did, man. You just kind of forced yourself in, and,
Yeah.
I'm dropping all this money. That's why when you were saying $3,000 in the bank account, and I'm like adding up everything. I mean, I'm over 100K into this
Yeah.
now, and I haven't even started running yet. I bought the truck and the office space, the yard, and all the equipment. I haven't even got all the supplies yet. As
The,
far as that, like, what do you recommend as far as, getting all the equipment you need, the day to day and all? How did you figure all that out?
I wish I was in your position when I started, right? Um, but then I think about it, for me personally, it was just, I think it was the grind. I think I love the grind, but I would say still run lean. Find somebody, find a family member, maybe use their address. You could hide the business address, but you could still get verified with Google, but you could just have a service area, right? You could still have the service area. I know I did that, when I was transitioning offices.
And that'll
Um,
actually work as far as the commercial insurance, because that's the other thing that you need to have an
yeah,
address, and an actual home address would work, because the insurance company's looking where you're actually
yep,
keeping the place. So sometimes when you go with the yard, the commercial insurance doesn't like that. So
yeah,
that's another thing you kind of got to figure out and get different quotes. And if you need to get in touch with somebody, Toby Stubbs is the guy, and I found him through Matt Vick and Sonoma Strong. I was having, just a nightmare trying to get the commercial insurance. I actually was getting a quote from Progressive, and then, I was telling Matt, I'm like, bro, it's insane, like 17,600. And Matt's like, yo, he's like, hit up this guy, Toby Stubbs. He's out of Chicago, but he is the man with commercial insurance in the junk removal industry. That's all his company does. I hit up Toby and he's like, yo, bro, Progressive can't even cover you. They dropped all junk removal in California. So, they're giving you a quote that's not even going to be able to get locked in, bro. So, he went over everything, and, I had to correct a bunch of things that I had wrong, which was really changing the price and just jacking it all up and all. So, guys, when you first get in, man, one of the first things I would do is connect with Toby Stubbs. If you haven't already, check out the interview I did with him. It's on this channel, and just go run through it. And you're going to learn a lot just from that, and a lot of stuff that you really, really need to know. And just a simple conversation with him could save you thousands and thousands of dollars and a lot of headaches and all. So, that's definitely something, I really encourage you to find out. And what is your commercial insurance looking like? I know you didn't go with the dump truck and all, and you went with the Ram truck. So I'm thinking it would be a lot more reasonable. Like, is it a lot more reasonable priced and all?
So so I'm going through Progressive. I'm
See,
going through
how did you even do, like, were you grandfathered in before they dropped?
yeah. So I got in before all this stuff happened because when we were with Allstate, they switched us up like crazy, and then we had to figure out really quick
Okay.
because it jumped up, and we needed to switch insurances really fast just because at the time for me, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive, and you already know, I mean, running a business, there may be a slow time, So for me, I'm always watching what I'm spending, watching what we're spending, and put the money where it needs to be,
That actually
right?
leads me to one of my questions. How do you handle the season fluctuations in demand as far as junk removal? I'm hearing in like the winter time, and we really don't have a winter out here in California. It's a lot better than most, but like in those cooler months and all, and especially around the holidays, does things slow down a lot out here? And like, how do you deal with that?
So for me, like, even like last year, it was pretty consistent. I would say just set your seeds. Like we just did 10,000 door hangers, right? And then we keep a stack, and we offer a promotion. Hey, we giving curbside pickup promotions, things like that. You guys got some extra cardboard, or you guys got a little recliner or a washer or a dryer. Hey, take advantage of this limited time. It's going to be $100, but it has
Now,
to be curbside
did
type
you
of thing.
put out 10,000 door hangers, or you're saying you just ordered 10,000 door
I
hangers?
order 10,000, and we'll do like 2,000 hangers every quarter, just in the local area in the hot spots. And I target the areas. I pick the areas, very thoroughly, and I just make sure that they're in areas where we haven't been or we want to be. Right.
Are you looking in like high value house areas? Like
Yes.
what are you looking for when you're looking for to put door hangers out and all?
So
I think you froze up on me. Are you still there, Isaac? Oh, he's frozen right now. All right, well, we'll wait for him to come back in here, but what we're talking about is, this is organic growth, and organic growth, I mean, we're out hanging door hangers. So if you go and do a job, here he goes, he's added back in. That's
sorry,
crazy, bro.
sorry, Paulie. We had a little bit of a
We
lag
have
right there.
two of you on the screen right now. I don't know if you see that, but I see two of you right now. You got twins going on right there. But yeah, back to the door hangers. So tell me about, like, what are you looking
So,
for in an area with them?
so with the door hangers, really, all this is supplemental, right? But I noticed that these are things that people really aren't doing. These are like old school tactics: door hangers, flyers, And I feel like after COVID, people lost connection of that. Everything's done over the phone, and when we don't realize, in our industry, it's an older clientele, right? I would say from maybe 28, 30 to 65 plus. We're targeting
more of the older generations, retired individuals, and or the white collar type of people, more affluent. But sometimes I'm in a blue collar area. There's a lot of guys that are blue collar workers. They make some good money. They just don't want to do the work on the weekends when they're home, because they're out there all week. So I would say pick wisely. Don't be doing the areas where maybe there not might be something there. But again, from my experience, you just really never know. And sometimes actually, if you judge the book by its cover, that might be the wrong thing. If you look towards maybe the older homes, that actually might be a good area to target, because guess what? A lot of the baby boomers, unfortunately, are passing away. That's what I've realized. And there's a lot of situations where their houses are packed. Their kids moved out. They just have all this stuff that accumulated throughout the years. I've even been in homes where their sons and daughters' rooms are still the same. Then they never touched them, right?
Now let me ask you this. So you do a job on at a house.
Uh-huh.
Where do you go and put the door hangers after? And do you also do the yard sign?
Okay, so with the yard signs, I have not experimented with the yard signs yet, the bandit signs. The reason why I held off, and I shouldn't have did that. I wasn't too sure on the county stuff. I've been hearing a lot of people that they'll get a phone call, or they'll get a fine, or for me personally, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of people that I felt if I was gonna spend X amount of, they would tear my signs down.
Mm.
And that's why I was like, you know what? Not yet. But I noticed that the door hangers recently, they're paying dividends right now. So
Let me give you a quick tip on this. This is just hearing from so many different people. So when you go and actually do a job at the house and all, that's the time you want to have your logo yard sign, and you put that out there, and you could offer them even like $10. Be like, can I leave this on here for 2 weeks? And most of the people I'm hearing have no problem with that. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to call up your county and actually find out if it's legal or illegal to have the yard signs. If it is, that's when you want to go get a tracking number and go get some bandit signs. And what I'm hearing is the best place to do them is put them up on like a telephone pole, where it's not going to be easy for somebody, like competition or somebody to come and rip it off and all. And, I'm even seeing a lot by the dumps locally. I see up on the telephone poles, and they've been there for, every time I go drive by and all, they're still there. So that's definitely something that I'm hearing great things, and I'm hearing the yellow and black bandit signs are just killing it. But you definitely want to do the tracking number with that, so it's not coming back to your business telephone. You know what I mean? And plus, it's another way of you knowing how much business you're bringing in with those bandit signs. But I'm hearing that those are the best. Andrew Thompson, he just swears by them. He's saying every 100 he puts out, he's getting 5 jobs from that. You know what I mean? So something that definitely incorporate it into the realm of things for sure.
thank you, Paulie. And trust me, I have actually a bandit style one made that just says junk removal with the phone number, and I have the one that's branded. The one that's branded would be like for a customer, right? Hey, if we can leave it here for a week or so, 2 weeks, we'll give you, an incentive next time for your next service, or you got to incentivize somebody,
Oh yeah.
And I know for a fact that will pay off, because I landed 3 jobs the 2 days ago in the same neighborhood from the cleanup, then across the street, and the house over. It was an extra, I think, $500 on top of our full load, and they were happy to pay it, man. And marketing, you gotta market.
Hell yeah. And I
Yeah.
want to say shout out to Green Up Junk Removal. Thank you for tuning in. He says, as always, great stuff here. Thank you. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate the support. And another thing that I put on the logo signs is I put a scan code, and that scan code goes back to the website. And, I actually did the dot card. So when they hit that scan code, it gives my phone numbers, it gives my websites, it gives my YouTube, it gives all the different marketing places where I am and where they could find me. And I also actually threw that on the wrap of my truck. And I seen that you just got a wrap. Who did your wrap, and kind of tell me about that, and what did they charge? That seems what a lot of the people in the community have been asking me. And what was the price on that?
I got give a shout out to Jorge with No Limit Wraps. Jorge with No Limit Wraps did all the work on all our vehicles, and for me, I would say this because he worked with us. It was a tick for tack. I referred him a lot of business, so he gave it a little bit of a prorated cost,
Yeah.
and we're his first fleet. But I would say expect to pay at least anywhere from 1,600 to 2,500 for a partial wrap. I mean, these things can range, man. So they could go up to like $4,000 for a full wrap, but I would say be ready to spend at least 1,500 to $2,400 for a reasonable wrap on your vehicle, and it was worth every penny. Like it's totally changed. I'm breaking necks everywhere now. It's awesome.
I gotta say, bro, I love the design on yours. I was following you. That's when we first met, and I was watching and everything you did, and I actually knew it was No Limit. That did it because we have a guy in the arm wrestling world, and he calls himself Devin Lorette No Limits, and so it stuck out to me right away. And I kind of watched your whole journey with that, and I was like, oh shit, that's a really nice branding. And I seen a couple of the trucks and with the trailers, and it's like night and day. You're driving around with a billboard now, and it just catches everybody's eye. They want to go look and see, what is that? What's that about over there? And definitely, I'm sure you're gonna bring in a lot more money just having them wrapped like that.
It's a game changer, and honestly, your truck is looking pretty dope. I think I seen a photo. You have like a kind of like a beta photo type thing.
Yeah,
Like
that was the markup, just the last proof, and now it's actually getting wrapped. I pick it up the day before the expo, so you'll get to see it in person at the expo. And I'm hearing it's looking amazing. And just like you said, I got a deal on it. He knows that I'm out there, and I'm marketing everybody. He knows I'm going to set up a sign next to the truck, and it's got his info on it, and also Pat Balance, the guy that designed it, who's in the junk world. He's been in there for like 20 years, and I had them make up a sign. So he really hooked me up. It was $2,500 from Specialized Automotive in Petaluma. And I mean, I have a full wrap, the whole NPR dump truck. Every inch of it has something on it, bullet points and everything. A couple of guys, with the SEO, they said, I went a little too crazy with it. So, what I said back to them is, well, this is an experiment. We're going to know exact numbers because I have the tracking number just for that truck. So I will know exactly if it was a good move going, that flashy, or if maybe I should have went a little more simple. And if that's the case on the next one, I'll switch things around. But I have a feeling it's going to be that, like, catch everybody's eye. And, I think it's going to be a great thing, so we'll definitely get to check that out.
I'll tell you what, Paulie, real quick. I'll say this is whatever someone says, you do the opposite. The only person that's going to know is you.
Yeah.
And if you got that belief, right, that intuition of like, hey, I know me and I know it's going to work. That's all that matters, man. The whole objective for what I've learned is to break necks. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to break necks, man. I want to be on the road, and I want, I want the kids to be like, oh, look at the truck, right? Or hey, dad, mom, look at, or the soccer moms, they're driving their kids to school. Oh, hey, I need some stuff thrown in my, so-and-so hasn't done it yet. I've been asking them for 2 months. I think it's a conversation starter, right?
Conversation piece. I always say that, man. You should always stick out. You should be flashy in your own ways. It starts that conversation, which could lead to so many different networking opportunities and all that.
Yeah, and I think you're doing the right things, and you're coming out professional. And when you hit them with your price, you know what I mean? They know what to expect. They see a branded vehicle. They see professionalism from the phone to when you step, when you knock at the door, when they open the door, they see that big old brand new truck right there. I mean, it's just, I think it's worth every penny, man. And I wouldn't doubt yourself on it. I think it's the best.
Hell yeah. And Green Up Junk Removal says, my truck is getting the partial wrap on the 29th of this month. Can't wait. Congrats, bro. Hell yeah, man. I can't wait. You got to keep us posted with it. Send us some pictures and all. And what's the price? What was the price that you got? And what area are you in? I'm very interested in that. So if you could put that in the comments. And just so what you were saying, brother, is, I walk a straight line in life. A lot of people, everybody's got their own opinions. If I would have listened to half of the people back in the day, I would never be in the position I am today. I was one of the first guys to get in the marijuana business when it was kind of like, it was just coming recreational. And, I just remember telling my family, I went to all the best schools. They always had me going, paying all this money for these great colleges and all. And then when they found out that I was going into the marijuana business, my mom, I just remember her saying, you're going to sell dope? What are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? And, I just had this vision, and all my family thought I was nuts. And I wasn't here. Everybody was trying to talk me out of it and all. And I just jumped. I went right in. And all I got to say is 2 years later, I go to the family reunions now, and they just line up and everybody's trying to get in business with me. And I'm like, yo, the ship has left already. So if I would have listened to everybody back then, I would never have got where I was today. I would never have got into the business as I was. So, I've always been that guy to try sticking out and doing my own way, and I've always stood by that. So, when people were saying, oh, you probably should have went with a more simple logo and all this. And I'm like, well, we'll know. The numbers will shed the light, you know what I mean? And it'll be the experiment for the whole junk industry. And I'll definitely report back on it for everybody. And, we got the answer at Green Up Junk Removal, Richmond, Virginia, $1,200. It's a 2008 Chevy 2500 HD with 8-foot bed. Again, both sides of the truck, tailgate, and the hood. Hell, that's a solid number, brother. I like that, man, for sure. And definitely keep us posted with that, bro. Yeah, I want to check that out for sure.
Hey, Paul, if you don't mind me asking, so what's your goal with your junk removal business? Forget about a junk removal. Like what is your projection? Because you jumped into an industry kind of like, everybody else, maybe not knowing, and you're just going for it. You know it's going to be a good move. What's your goal with your vision?
So my goal for this is, I don't need to open up a new business. And that's why a lot of people ask me, like, why are you doing this and all? And I love the challenge of a new business and doing new stuff. So what my goal is I want to make this into like a franchise. I've never did that before. I've made a bunch of successful businesses. I've did very well, but I've never actually made a franchise. And what I mean by like franchise is, I also have a place in Florida and I have a place in New York. I have a lot of friends that know, they believe in me. They've seen what I've did over the years. So as soon as I got into this business, I have my best friend in New York. He's already he's ready to open up the next Fuhgeddaboutit junk removal in New York. I got my homies down in Florida that are like, yo, bro, we're ready. We'll run this for you. You know what I mean? So I already have a crew. They don't even know anything about the junk removal business. I haven't even started day one, but they're already telling me they're going to open up their chapters, over there. So that is my goal with here. That's what's going to be different. And what I want to do is I want to learn this from the ground up. And I'm going to do this through the YouTube way. I got into the arm wrestling world. I became one of the top promoters in the world, and I learned YouTube, and everything goes through YouTube. So I want to show everybody from me being on the truck, not knowing anything. Actually, I'm even showing before I'm doing the interviews, learning, getting all this info, listening to you talk, listening to all the other people I had on the interviews. Now I'm going to go and apply this on the truck. I'm going to go 6 months to a year. I heard Andrew Thompson told me that, he got off a little too quick. I think he was 3 months. He said he would have probably stayed in, like a year. So somewhere between that 6 months and year, I'm going to build, a team. I'm going to get a couple employees, I'm going to take my time with that. I'm going to bring some good guys in there. By the end of the first year, I want to have my second NPR dump truck up and running. Now, my goal is to have 3 trucks going out here, then I want to go over to my next spot in Florida. I want to go and see if I could replicate that, do the same thing over there. I'm going to learn right away. I'm going to know if it's possible. Can you be in another state and still be able to run this business and be successful with it and all, and set up the whole system, set up a general manager, get the employees, train them from the beginning, so that's the challenge that I want to go and I want to accomplish. When I get my head stuck on something, I won't sleep until I get that up and running and doing what I'm saying. So that's the goal with this.
That's awesome, Paul. It's super ambitious of you, and I admire that. It's awesome. I can't. I have. I think you're gonna do great. You got the personality and you got the vision already, man. Now you just got to go execute.
Hell yeah. And I think it's just going to be so much fun. I watch Matt and Jojo Vic, and, I watch them making the videos, and I'm like, I love, making videos. I love being in front of the camera. I love that whole journey. It's not even like working for me. You know what I mean? It's something, I enjoy doing. So, I'm really looking forward, where people think I'm like crazy. Like, dude, you're going to go pick up garbage and trash. Like, why are you doing this, bro? You do very, very well in all your other businesses. You definitely don't need to be doing it. I'm like, bro, I love that shit, and plus it's a great workout. And then the other thing that is true is all my arm wrestling friends, they all want to do something for me. They see how successful I am with businesses, and they always come to me like, yo, can we get a job? Now, unless you've been growing marijuana for 20 years and you got some, experience in that, there's nothing I could help you out with that. And it's maybe as a trimmer or whatever, but that never really worked out or anything. My antique and collectible business, I've had my best friend running it for 10 years now. This dude knows everything. He doesn't really need any help over there and all. My promotions business, I got a couple of the arm wrestling guys that became good friends with me that helped me run that, and we throw events all over the world and all that. So I wanted something that I could put these guys to work as well. So every state, I'm well known everywhere in the arm wrestling world, and bro, there's thousands of people in each state that are arm wrestlers that I am really good friends with. So I already have the resources of people in the pool of people to pick through, and they love this because it's a workout. All day they're lifting things up, putting them down, you know what I mean? And it's like they love that kind of shit, bro. So it's killing two birds with one stone. I'm helping others out. It's a win-win situation for everybody, and it's something great to do. Plus it's another paycheck. I like getting into that too.
That's right. Just like Matt says, let's turn that trash into cash.
That trash life. We're lucky, bro. We're getting he's got that new line out, trash life with the shirts, and it's the hashtag. And the only people that are going to be able to get these right away are going to be at the Junk Expo. So we're going to be getting, bro, we're going to be part of that. We'll get to go and market their new apparel, which I already been watching all the comments. Everybody's like, yo, where can I get it? Where can I get it? And I see Jojo like, oh, you got to come to the Junk Expo. And unfortunately, the Junk Expo sold out. They sold 200 tickets, like, I think they were like a month ago. It was already sold out. I kept telling everybody on my interviews and all, I'm like, yo, make sure you go. And I know people, they wait to the last minute for everything. Now people are going around, they're like, yo, I'll pay whatever. Does anybody have an extra ticket? And I'm like, but I am in Matt and Jojo's head. I'm like, yo, we got to throw a couple of these. I helped sponsor this one. I got involved right away. I was like, yo, I want to help you guys make this bigger and better. And I sponsored it right away. And I said, the next one, if you guys need help with anything, if you need somebody to help throw it with you, I would love to do that. So, I'm if this is a success, which, it's already sold out, I think it's going to be, a very big success. I'm looking to start throwing these, quite often with them, hopefully. So, next week when we go out to dinner, Matt and Jojo, if you're still listening, that's what we're going to be talking about for sure.
That's right. And I love it. I like the fact that they decided to throw it. I didn't get a chance to go last year, I think, I don't know if it was Junk Con, and I was upset. It was around the same time. I'm like, damn it, I couldn't go. And when I heard that they were gonna host it, I was shocked. I was like, oh hell yeah, let's do it. And then it was local, because the other one was in, I think, North Carolina, up in Riley. And
wait, where was it? It was up north, or it was down south? I thought it was down by like LA, like by Andrew and all them.
No, I think Andrew hosted something.
Okay.
I think something a little bit different. It was another thing hosted, but I missed it. So when I found out it was going to be right here, It's
Okay.
like it's that far from from any of us. So I was like, oh, sold. I got the ticket right away. I didn't even hesitate. I
Can't
called
miss
that.
that. Hell
Hey,
yeah.
what's going on? It's Isaac with Junk Gun,
Yep.
and that was it. And then I'm excited. I'm I'm anxious, to be involved. I think it's really cool because it's a network of trial and tribulations and people that and experience.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes you got to pay to be in these rooms. That's what I'm learning. You got to pay to be in the rooms, and for the price of those tickets, it's seems like a fair trade.
You're going to hear from 9 of the top people in the industry, plus get to network with 200 other people that, everybody's got, so much knowledge and experience, and, just be able to, kick back and have a beer and just kind of talk with these guys. Like, I'm talking like guys with Kevin Hess, I just got to read his book, Leading with Purpose. And, the dude's got a gift, man, when it comes to the customer service and all that, and just learning all this stuff. And it applies not only in the junk industry, it applies in any kind of business you get into. And it's, you're just making yourself, a better person and better and savvy in business. So, it's definitely something I'm really, really excited about, the network with all these people. And right before I got into this, I was searching for laundromats. I was down at my Florida condo, and I was there for 6 months, and I did the same thing in that industry. I connected with all the top guys. I was on all the podcasts and all. I didn't start my own podcast, but they were bringing me on, and they're like, dude, this guy's coming on. He hasn't even bought his laundromat yet, but we're gonna go follow him through his as I was going trying to buy them. But I just struck out, man. I was looking in the wrong area. I was looking around Miami, and they were going for like 4 times the value. It wasn't making sense. And then the finance companies weren't giving out they wanted you to pay cash up, and I'm talking like 1.5 million for these small little 2,000 square foot laundromats, and you're just doing the math and you're like, bro, this doesn't even make sense or whatever. But as I'm doing all this, the goal is, once I get everything running, I'll go back over to Florida, and I'm going to be looking in North Florida, and I'm going to be also, I might be opening up some Forget About It laundromats down there as well, so that could be the next thing going on as well, bro.
Heck, you out killing it, man.
Yeah, I get into everything, brother, for sure. And
Hey, that's how we got to do it, though.
hell yeah, man, that's it, bro.
You got to have multiple things going on.
100%, man. I don't sleep. I'm always on the move. Green Up Junk Removal. He says, I think the heart to a good franchise setup would be a good home base to take calls, etc. Have a solid home base will be key. Yeah, and the other thing is building the team. Guys that could really know what they're doing. You could trust them. I think the key is going to be to have a general manager that really could close the deals. He could go and get the quotes and kind of just handle the day to day. And you just have your systems in order where you could just look over everything and just make sure everything's running smoothly. And I speak of this now, but I'll know better from being on the truck myself and kind of just learning from the bottom up, and I'll know after 6 months 100% if it will be able to be doable. And you guys all know too, because you're going to be watching me on the YouTube channel and kind of just figuring everything out. And I know, Isaac, I already said this, man, you're going to be one of those dudes I'm going to be hitting up all the time and kind of just picking your brain, because you definitely enlighten me with a lot of stuff. And us living, I think we're probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from each other. I think it's going to work out great, man, because if anybody calls me and they're in the South Bay area, I'm going to be referring them right over to you. If anybody's in the North Bay area, you got me up here, you got Sonoma Strong as well, and me and Matt and all them, we're about probably like a half an hour, 45 minutes from each other as well. So it's like we're like the perfect distance from each other where we could all help each other out. And and there's just so much business and such a population in this area. It's not even like it's competition. It's, you guys could really just kill it all together, helping each other.
There is so much opportunity and trash out there, and I mean, you just got to go do it. You got to go get it. That's the bottom line.
How are you with commercial jobs? Do you get in with like the apartment complexes? Do you have any experience with that?
So I do. I do not many. That's actually my goal this upcoming year. Is I'm actually focusing solely on commercial. So I'm
Okay.
setting some things in stone. My goal next year is to be off the truck by the end of the year.
Okay.
So I'm one of those guys where I like things done a certain way, and I've been working on it, right? Because it was, blood, sweat, and tears in this. I broke my ribs actually last year in this business, man, and I still kept going. I have the vision, and I was just like, hey, we got to keep this strong reputation and do things correctly, but that is one of my next steps is to getting more commercial clients. I do have commercial clients. I do have some property managers. I work with a lot of realtors, and I do have some B2B work, business to business. I do actually. That's what I did today. They've hired us 3 times in the past. Actually, I would say 8 months, and they're actually gonna hire us again. We're gonna actually be back next week. So. And then we get that referral, and one of the managers that hired us, she actually needs junk removal because she's moving, right? So we're gonna go next week as well, and we're gonna go do a half a load or a full load for her as well. So you really don't know what the next day really brings, and that's why I like the business. I do, but I think that is key, and I would say if I can really focus on things within my second year, I would have been more aggressive with commercial. I would say be best friends with those apartment complex managers. Just try to get in as best as you can. I think that the problem is with some people is they have a hard time getting in because some have like third party companies, something like that you have to get invited.
Okay.
You have to get invited, so you go knock at that door, which I did. I knocked at every door personally, from here, San Jose. I mean, everywhere. I literally spent, months trying my best to get in front of the managers and knock on those doors. And a few of them were like, okay, yeah, we'll take your cards. And some of them like, hey, you have to get invited, but we'll keep your card. And you have to apply for through this third party company. I'm forgetting the names. They're not coming to me right now. And then
Well, I gotta say, brother, from knowing you the short amount of time I do, I always look for the people's strengths that I could recognize. And the strength that I see is, the way that you talk with people. You got that, I'm assuming that you can close almost any deal, and I think that's something that's going to be a real benefit for you, especially when you go and knocking on these commercial properties and getting connected with them. They're going to like what they see. They're going to like how you present yourself. You got all, the proper setup with the branding and all that. So I think you are going to absolutely kill it with that. And then my next question is, as far as what you take home, percentage wise, because I know when you're on the truck yourself, I'm hearing like 50% you're bringing home and all. Is that around the rate that you're seeing?
So when I have helpers,
Yep.
the goal when we got bigger cleanups, nothing less than 40%. My goal is 60%, but nothing less than 50%. Like today, I had a helper, but the job majority of it was recyclable. We did a couple loads for them, so the profit margin was, pretty. I mean, what fuel and time, and I would say always aim for at least 60% if you can. 60%, and watch out with how long it takes you. I'm very big on this. I'll tell you this. I'm so like, hey, there's no reason why this job shouldn't take more than an hour for this load. We got it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very, I'm tracking everything in 30-minute increments. Like, hey, like how fast are we doing this? Like this half load, it shouldn't take us no more than 30 minutes if it's right here in the side yard. There's
I was hearing a time frame where, Andrew Thompson, that's kind of where I'm hearing this from. And, he would say if you got a full load, what you would get with that is you get 2 people for 2 hours max time. Anything over that 2 hours, now he's going to add on to the price and all. Is that a fair, assumption to say, or is it less than that? Because you're saying like 1 hour, you'd like to see it knocked out.
so no, he's right. And I know that not every load is going to be like that. And there's times where it takes an hour and a half, it could take 2 hours. But I would say, yeah, I let customers know from the get-go, hey, on average for this size dump trailer or the box truck, and depending on this type of job, it roughly takes around an hour and a half max. But let's just say there's an upstairs and there's bulky furniture, or everything is just scattered. Then you let the customer know, hey, it's going to take about roughly an hour and a half. Usually we work pretty fast. We want to work fast for you guys, but because everything's so scattered, it may take a little bit longer. And on average, let's just say I tell the customer, hey, it's not going to take anything more than 2 hours. But if it ends up happening to take an additional, time frame within that 2 hour mark, I just got to let you know we got to charge an hourly rate on top of that load. Yeah.
Now,
So
when you're doing your quotes, are you doing them, because I know a lot of people want to just text you a picture and all, and I'm hearing, the best thing to do with that is just kind of give a rough estimate and make it clear it's a rough estimate, and you say you want to come and actually see it in person. How do you give your quotes?
I answer the phone. That phone I try to answer it no more than 3 rings. I have like a science to this. I'll answer that phone within 2 rings. If I can, immediately. I'll drop everything I'm doing. Hey, this is Isaac with Junk on Hauling. How can I help you? Right? When they're on the phone, like, hey, which I get this a lot, is I'll pre-screen them. I'll listen to them real quick. But I already know what I'm going to say. I'll be like, hey, just to let you guys know, we do in-person estimates. So I'll find a window, not to be rude, let them speak. Be like, hey, just to let you guys know, we always do in-person estimates. And there's times where we get a lot of resistance. But also I do that to protect myself from other competitors, to be honest, because we have, my area is trying to get it really saturated. So it's one of those ways of me vetting the customer and if they're going to be a good customer. Because if they let you go to the home, if they have no problem with you going in the home real quick and be like, hey, I just tell the customer, hey, it's going to take 10 to 15 minutes of your time. And if you like the quote, and if we can, we'll offer you same day service. How does that sound? Oh, sure, no problem. I'm going to be home all day. Okay, perfect. I'll see you within the next hour in between our route from our current customers on schedule. I will say this, go to the customer, because I noticed when I was I'm not saying getting lazy, but I was just like, oh, I could, I'll let the customer send me a phone text or sometimes we just get texts of like, hey, how much would you charge for this? And I'm like, okay, well, first off, you got to know where are they calling you from or where's their location. Because that has a big factor on what you're going to charge them, right? If you have a little bit of a differential, what if they're like 30 miles out? What if they got a piano that's on the second floor? Because you're going to find real quick that from what I always tell customers, but from what a customer sees, from what we see, are 2 completely different things. From what you say maybe a lot is going to be different from what we see, So I would say go in person, and your closing ratio is going to skyrocket. You're going to close. You're going to close. And I will say this, there's jobs I walk away from. I'm at the point where there's some, I recognize that not all money's good money, and that is important, you guys. Just letting you guys know, not all money is good money. In the beginning, you got to prove yourself. You might, undercut a little bit, but once you get to that point, I tell customers this, just like this, like, hey, have you guys ever used a junk removal service before? And they're like, used the guy one time, or they bashed 1-800 or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, okay, perfect. Well, if you haven't, this is 9 times out of 10, this is how it works, and we charge for the amount of space that it takes up in our equipment, right? And we have from 1/4 load to a full load, depending on your guys' situation, is going to be exactly what we're going to charge you. And I kind of go into my script, and I found they're like, oh, I didn't know that, or oh wow, I didn't even know that they charged for couches like that, or I didn't know that they charged for mattresses. So I just I give you give yourself to sell yourself, sell your company, sell the brand, show professionalism, and let the customer know, like, hey, the reason why you want to hire us is because we're going to make sure that all your belongings go to where it's supposed to go, such as the landfill and the transfer station. because I don't know if you've noticed, there's a lot of trash being dumped on the back roads or the side of the road, and we charge what we charge is because we want to make sure it gets to the right place. So there's I have a process, Polly. I've literally I could recite it, right now, but I know I'll tell everybody this. Spend the extra fuel money. It's a tax deductible. It's a tax write-off. Spend the money, get to the customer, don't be lazy, answer that phone, and do whatever it takes to get in front of them, because you're going to build rapport. You're going to sell your service, you're going to sell your brand, you're going to sell yourself, and then it gives you an opportunity to show the neighbors. And then if you do land that job, they see you doing the job, neighbor comes to you, which they will. Hey, can I have a card? Oh, sure, no problem. Now you got a potential customer, and then you got their referral. So really, I just look at it as a web. I'm big on customer service.
Oh, we lost you. Yeah, I think we just lost him. Hopefully he's gonna come right back. But yeah, that sounds amazing. Like he sounds like he's really on top of customer service, which is a very, very important. Oh, here we go. He's back. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Cool.
Kind of cut out. But hopefully I answered your question. I know I kind of ramble a little bit. I just got so much to say.
That was amazing, bro. That is, the perfect way to say it. And, repeat customers are, a major, major thing. And just going over and aboard, they remember that. And now they're going to go and refer you to the neighbors. And just like you said, just having your truck in the driveway, you got all the interest of all their neighbors. And, now you got potential other, as soon as you leave, they're probably going to ask the neighbor, like, how was your service and all that. And if they go and they say great things, you're going to pretty much get some much more business. And then, I want to tie this all in together, with this autopilot software that Andrew is going to be bringing us, and I like that this whole sequencing that he's talking about. And, once you get them in the log, because, when I was talking with Ronnie Knuckles was like, you got to stay in touch with all your customers. And, I like to call them every week and just kind of like follow up and make sure they're doing good. And sometimes, I just come friends with them. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's good at the beginning, but how are you going to do this once you have, a few thousand customers and all? And then Andrew comes through with this sequencing. And, once it's in the logbook, now you go and send out the mass text. Or it's wintertime and things are slowing down a little in Cali, and you want to pick up business. Boom, you go pick up the sequencing, send out a mass text. You're going to go and you're going to pick up new business from that. So, I think, the trend of junk removal is, you're going to have to learn that tech savvy kind of stuff. And, a lot of us blue collar workers, really aren't into the whole computer thing, but the autopilot software kind of takes all that out of it and it does everything for you. And when I go on this, we're in the beta testing, but it's so easy to use. Do you know how long it took me to get my 5 tracking numbers all set up? It was literally, my girl did it for me. It was like 3 minutes later, I had all 5 tracking numbers assigned to a different part of my marketing. And I'm like, this is genius. This is just so amazing. And what I really love is, I'm just beginning. I haven't even started my business. I'm going to know exactly, when you were saying with the door hangers, they kill it, the yard signs. Well, I'm going to have the actual numbers right in front of me. So now I know it's like, all right, it makes sense to go order those 10,000 door hangers. It makes sense. All right, maybe I might not want to go so much to the logo yard signs. I might want to go more with the Bandit because they're bringing in a lot more marketing. And then, just like we were talking about earlier, knowing with the wrap, does it make sense? Well, I'm going to have that answer because that's its own number on my truck. No other number has it. So I know exactly where all this marketing is coming from. So, I think that's one of the things that, is happening in junk removal. And, as far as with the SEO and, I also just found out, Google, like a year ago, it was all about just having a huge website with all these, pages and, thousands of backlinks and, people were just going, across overseas and just getting, kind of like bullshit backlinks, but just throwing tons of them in there. Well, I actually just learned that Google changed its whole thing, and now they're looking for quality backlinks, and they're actually penalizing the people that are just going and getting, 1,000 backlinks and attaching it to their website. Now you're getting ranked lower and all that. So, it's just, you kind of like everything is going that tech way. And if you want to stay on top, because, it is starting to get saturated, there's still lots of opportunity. We're still, pretty much, new in the industry, and, there's so much room in out there. But I think if you want to stand out and keep getting the numbers that, of being one of the top companies, you're going to have to adapt to this. And, software like Andrew's putting out, and, kind of just learning like the SEO for yourself, and, maybe working with an agency that could kind of guide you in the right way. I think that's going to be the way, to stand out these days and all. So, that's where I'm at also. I've been just kind of talking with everybody and trying to figure out, what's the best website to come right out the gate with. Should I be going crazy with it? And, what I'm hearing is it's local SEO. Find those quality links that I could, attach with, as something simple as, getting connected with the local hospital in my area, and, going over them and say, hey, any of your employees come through my company, I will give you 10% off, for all those employees. Can you put me on your website? That is a local backlink that is really going to rank high for you, because it's quality. They see the location of it in your area. It makes sense. Another thing that I was thinking about, and, I want to run this by you right now, because you might know about this, is, I was going to sponsor the Little League, where I'm in that area. Petaluma has got a great Little League. They were at the World Series a bunch of times and all. I want to go and sponsor a team like that. Forget about junk removal as a baseball team. And I think that, just stuff like that, I think is kind of key as well. What do you think as far as doing stuff like that?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good move. So I was trying to sponsor, or have give some sponsorship to the local high school I went to, but I was a little bit too late, unfortunately,
Okay.
but I think that's a good move, right? Because if you can be in front of everyone's face like that, especially if you have their logo on the banner, or maybe on the back of their shirts. I mean, what greater power of representing the brand, your brand, then also you're supporting the community, and then you're getting that community exposure, right? From everyday people that are busy. They're at the baseball games with their kids, or the soccer games, or football games. They're on, they're there on a weekend. They don't got the time, maybe because they're busy doing all these things with their kids. I mean, and they just maybe don't have the time to do these things at the house. And they see your logo, they see the number, and or maybe they might see you there at one of the games, right? I think it's the best move. I think just having a good, solid reputation locally, it's literally, it'll spread like wildfire. If you give a good experience to that customer, they're definitely, it's going to pay you dividends.
Yeah,
So
I definitely agree. And I kind of did it in the arm wrestling world. I don't know if you know this, but Petaluma is one of the place where actually arm wrestling begun, 40 something years ago. And we got the arm wrestling statue in the middle of town and all. So I kind of went with that route when I first got, me having an arm wrestling promotion company, and everybody in the town, I'm literally like the mayor. Everybody walks around and they see me in town. They're like, oh, that's the arm wrestling dude. Like everybody. So now when they say, oh, there's the arm wrestling guy, I'm like, hey, you got to hear about my new business. Forget about it. And they look at me with the Italian horn, and they know I'm from New York and all. And so everybody sees me and they're like, forget about it. It's just, it's taken off like that. And, everybody kind of like associates me with that, and I was also on all the radio stations here, and, telling all about, I was going to bring back events over here. And, I go to, what I used to do is I used to bring all the famous arm wrestlers. I would rent this big tour bus, and I would bring them in, and I would bring them on a tour around Petaluma and showing them the old famous spots where everybody would arm wrestle. I'd bring them to the statue. I had like a whole written out like history of it, and I would go through, and it went like fire around the whole arm wrestling world. I'm talking people from all on the other side of the world, Australia, Dubai. They're all coming to visit, because they're hearing about this. So it's just about, like, just kind of branding yourself and networking with everybody that you come across. And I could see that you're one of those guys, man. Like when you meet right away what you're about, what you're into. I'm sure you're putting out your name everywhere. It's on your truck. I see you're wearing the shirt right now. You had the hat on before. I mean, you're one of those guys that that's it, bro.
Oh yeah,
You're living the brand.
you are gonna know, and you're gonna see me when I wake up until I go to sleep. I got the shirt on.
That's it.
It's what I wear every day, man. I've been toning it down a little bit because my girl's getting on my ass. Hey, can you wear something different? Or like, hey, like, but I mean, she got clothes, she got sweaters. I try my best to get everybody sweaters and hats. Yep. And people, and the craziest thing is people have been asking, hey Isaac, can I buy a hat? Or hey, can I get a sweater? Can I get a shirt? But a lot of people want sweaters and stuff like that. I haven't done that yet. I don't know if I want to do that, but
I just made the tank tops, bro, because I always cut off the sleeves. So I just ordered a bunch of the tank tops and jerseys and all with Forget About It all over it.
I swear that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll get there. I don't know. I think maybe if I was in I don't know, Arizona, maybe we'd rock tank tops because it's probably hot over there, a lot hotter. But yeah. I mean, I really live the brand. I don't know if you're familiar with a lot of the influencers, other influencers like Grant Cardone or Andy Verstappen. What really got me going is Grant Cardone. And he always market 10X rule, all these books I read. And I really eat, sleep, and breathe it when it comes to living the brand, man. And it's paying off. It is paying off. And it trips me out when I see the vision that we talked about and it's like coming to life, and the fact that it was bootstrapped, built from the ground up, and it's turning into something that, who knows,
something you're proud of.
Oh, for sure. First business, real business. It's not going to be the only business. I want to be like you, and I'm that type of guy. I want to dabble in all these things, but I want to be successful at it. I want to be the best at it, and I know you're like that, and that's great because we have to be. But there's times where we may fall on our face, but at least we tried, right? I would rather do that and fail and say, hey, well, at least I went for it, right? Because there's a lot of people that didn't, or maybe just didn't have the knowledge, and that's what prevented them from maybe pursuing that goal. And I think doing this, Paulie, what you're doing is great, and there needs to be more of it, especially within the blue collar community, because a lot of the blue collar guys, they just know how to work. They just want to get it done. They got the tool belt on. Let's get it done. Yeah. And I'm that type of guy too, but I knew I needed to adapt and to learn and to just embrace everything as possible and be savvy in whatever I do. Be that chameleon. We gotta be good at this and that. We gotta learn and just be really involved in what we're doing, and really know what we're doing. We're not gonna know everything.
This ties into my last question for you, brother.
Okay.
I want to learn something about you that, nobody in a junk removal industry would know, something that could surprise us. Like maybe it's a hobby or maybe a fact about yourself.
So I actually, yes, that's a good one. I know it sounds crazy. So I do weightlift just like you. I do junk removal all day. And I've taken some time off recently because I gotta get some injuries healed up. I got my hand thing I'm fixing.
Hold on. That you just said that I have I work with a stem cell company, VitaCell. I'm opening up one in New York actually, and it's stem cells are healing up all us arm wrestlers. Some of our guys been arm wrestling 40 years. They had injuries for 30 years. They had to change their way of living. Well, in the last 2 years, I've watched this company, Vitacell Biologics, come in and heal up the whole community. The owner's son is an arm wrestler, and that's why he got into this. And he came to me first. He loved that I was from New York. He lives in Louisiana, but he's originally from New York and all. And he's seen my podcast. He was a big fan. And me and this other guy, Devin Lorette, who's super famous in the arm wrestling world, we just went around and we were promoting the stem cells. And I got to watch at least 100 people totally cure their injuries that they never thought would be better again. And now they're back to their old self. They're lifting weights every day. And I'm talking guys like 50, 60 years old, and from being sponsored from them, my mother, she was going to need a knee replacement and all. And I was like, you know what, let's give this a shot. I could get you some exosomes, do a couple of shots and let's see what works. Well, she went and did it. It was over like an 8-week period. She did one shot each week. She goes back to the doctor. I think it was like 6 months later, and the doctor, his mouth just dropped, and he's like, what did you do? And she goes and tells him about, my connection and all. She completely healed. She doesn't need knee replacement no longer. Her knee is 100%. So, when I hear injury, that's the first thing I'm talking about. And I believe so much in it that, I'm in the middle of opening up something in New York. I'm going in November, and I'm going to talk with a couple of the doctors that I've been, talking over the last few months. And we're going to put this into action and all. So if you ever do need some stem cells, or maybe it's an injury that we could help, we could right over here in Las Vegas is affiliate facility that we work with, and I could get you linked up with them, and I get you 40% off, which that's major because they do get pricey, but with that discount and all, it's definitely something people could afford, and I mean it's going to heal you up for life. So what is the injury in the hand that you have? Okay. I have the same thing with my finger. I have trigger finger. Is that which?
So I broke this middle finger. So what I was gonna tell you my hobby, Polly.
Which?
So I've been doing mixed martial arts pretty much my whole life. I did wrestling, middle school, high school. I did kickboxing, MMA. I boxed. I mean, I currently just been doing jiu-jitsu now for the past several years, just straight jiu-jitsu. That's what I do.
I'm trained by Rodrigo Gracie for 10 years and Matt Serra.
Okay.
And yeah,
All
bro,
right.
I was big in that world for sure.
Yep. So that's my hobby at night, man. I'm gonna be honest. I used to love to play video games, but really, it's my hobby is making money, business right now, and it's jiu-jitsu, man. And it's just being in the gym. This past week, though, I'm not gonna lie, I have not been in the gym. I haven't had time.
Okay.
Because I've been getting home like at 9 o'clock. Been waking up. It's been busy. Yeah.
Well,
So
stay fresh, man, because we're gonna get some arm wrestling. I'm gonna teach you how to arm wrestle, and I'm gonna bring the table and the dump truck and all, and we'll set it all up. Yeah, raw. Yeah. So.
Oh no!
Yeah. Look at his forearm right here.
There we go.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's amazing that you're in with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I got to the blue belt with 2 stripes. I was trained under Rodrigo Gracie, one of the Gracies. His father was Caesar Gracie, the one that really was the head of. No, his brother was Caesar. His father was the one that I can't even remember. Helio Gracie, the one that kind of started all Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all. And yeah, but
Royce and everybody, but it's a big family, man. Big family.
Oh yeah, there's hundreds of them. I used to hang out with all of them. I've met Hoyce and Caesar was over in the city, and yeah, I used to really, that was just like I get into everything. I was obsessed for many years with that, and then Rodrigo actually moved out here. He went down to SoCal, and I used to train with him. I was in New York, and then I went and started training with Matt Serra, and he won the championship in UFC, and I used to go to all the UFC matches, and I'm actually friends with Dana White. Dana actually goes through us with the stem cells. They all, that's the other thing. I'm so connected in the MMA world, fitness and arm wrestling. that's where that's why I'm opening the place in New York. My friend is Ryan LaFleur. He's a famous UFC fighter. He just retired and all, and he's got a couple of schools. So, we're all working together, and, I'm helping them with the discounts. And, I feel like, it's a good way of making money, but I truly believe in healing people and what it's doing for people. And, at the first I was a little skeptical. They're telling you could take this shot and it just heals up everything, but after watching it for 2 years and hundreds of people getting healed up that never thought they were going to be able to get healed, I was just like, I gotta, help people out and bring this to the next level. So we'll definitely talk in person. I could show you, I had 2 surgeries myself when I first got into arm wrestling. I popped both bicep tendons, and, I had to go and get these crazy surgeries and all, but, I'm stronger than ever, got healed up, got the stem cells, and truly believe in that stuff for sure.
Send me that link, Paulie, because I need that right now. I'm not gonna lie.
100%, bro. I'll connect you right with the owner, man. And he's just so knowledgeable. And when somebody I bring in, he just loves me. He's like one of biggest fans of me in arm wrestling. And he loves my pie. He goes, yo, I feel like I'm back in the old neighborhood in New York. He goes, I live in Louisiana, but hearing you talk, it's like one of the old neighborhood guys. And also, we definitely have that connection and all. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to hanging out at the Junk Expo. This is going to be an amazing experience. I'm glad you're going with the meet you in person, and it's going to be definitely a fun time. Are you staying overnight, or are you just coming for the day?
We were planning on to. My girl was gonna go with me. I'm not too sure of the situation right now, but that was the original plan. It's gonna be cool because I even got a buddy down from SoCal. He's going to be coming up. He's been in the business now going on year 3 or year 2.5, year 3. He's coming up. I helped him out a little bit when he first got started. He caught me off of TikTok, and I guess I was the one few guys that actually reached back out and gave him some of the sauce. And he's out there killing it now in SoCal. So he's going to be up there too. I'm going to meet him in person for the first time. So I think it's going to be cool, man. I can't wait to meet you and meet Matt and JoJo finally in person. We chit chat here and there. Me and Matt on Facebook. He follows me on Facebook, but
Excellent, man. I really like Matt a lot, man. Really, really cool dude, bro, for sure. Where green up junk removal. He says either of you near Kentfield. My cousin stays out that way. Do you know where Kentfield is, Isaac?
I don't unfortunately know.
He just had a double stroke while at the MMA gym.
Oh.
Needing prayers for him for sure. He is making a strong recovery. Yeah, I wish you the best, bro. I wish your cousin the best with that. I'm not really sure what Kentfield is. I know like my little area over here, but the rest of Cali, unless it's like down by like LA and all, I'm like lost out here, like still, you know what I mean? Even though I've been out here like close to like 10 years and all, I probably should know my way around a little more, but I know where the mountains are, I know where the marijuana grows are, and, pretty much anything south of San Francisco, I'm lost for sure.
All right. Well, we wish it was his cousin, right? The speedy recovery, brother. That's horrible, but
he's north of San Francisco, so he's probably in by like Sacramento. Then he's probably inland a little, because I don't know it being anywhere near me over here. So I'm gonna think it's somewhere probably around Sac, or maybe Oakland or something like that, maybe like East Bay type stuff. So I'll definitely look it up after here and check it out. But yeah, stay in touch, Green Up. Are you coming to the Junk Expo, man? Like, I feel like I already know you, bro. You should come over here, go check out the expo. I mean, it's sold out already. Hopefully you got your tickets already, but there's people coming from all over the country for this, man. I know a couple of people from Arizona. I know New York. Actually, that guy that I was telling you about earlier that teamed up with my guy in the antiques and collectibles in New York, he's actually coming out here, and Matt already knew him, and we started talking about a New York guy, and it turned out it was the same guy. I'm like, holy shit. So yeah, he'll be out here as well. So
this big world can be a small world very quick.
For real, man, for real. He says,
but,
not this year, but I'm locked. I'm locked
Okay.
for the next opportunity. Yeah, man, we'll definitely keep you posted with that, man. That'd be pretty cool. And yeah, if you guys ever come out, man, I'll have to show you around. I got the home gym and all, and I got all the arm wrestling gym set up here. It's pretty official. So if you stay over or whatever, maybe I'll if we got time, I'll show you that as well. Well, I just want to thank you for coming on tonight, bro. I really appreciate it, man. It was a lot of fun talking with you and all, and looking forward to seeing you next week. What social platforms can people get in touch with you right now? I know you're doing your
Uh,
thing on YouTube and all.
Yeah, so I should have been more consistent with YouTube, but I'm gonna be more consistent from here forward. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to Junk on Hauling and Junk Removal Services, or just the username's JunkOn408. And if you guys have any questions, feel free, hit me up. I'll answer as many questions as I can at junk_gone on Instagram. And if you guys want to follow my personal page, I don't mind. Vanilla Gorilla.
I
Vanilla
seen
Gorilla.
that. Yeah, I seen that. Yep.
Uh,
Hell yeah, I like that name.
2 I's, so it's VANIILA, and then just Gorilla. So, or just first and last names, Isaac Cadill. You guys, more than happy to help you guys out if you guys have a question, if I can answer, and if I can't answer it, I'm sure that we could find that answer for you guys.
Yeah, and any of his platforms, you could just put Junk Gone. That's how I always find it, and it brings you right to it. You'll know it's him. You'll see his logo. He's got it on his social media, on the trucks and all that, and he's branded up really good. He's got that brand everywhere. So just put in Junk Gone, and it'll come right up, and you'll be able to find him. Real easy to remember, guys. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Thank you for the support and tuning in. I know it's at the beginning of my YouTube channel. It's hard getting followers at the beginning, but I'm going to stay consistent with this. And I feel like as soon as I get out on the road and with the truck and all, it'll be a lot easier to bring some more content and really get myself out there. And Isaac, anytime you want to come on, bro, always got an open invite, and I'm going to stay on you now. So keep you going with that YouTube, and, we could build together on that for sure, bro.
I am so down, Paulie. It was really nice to, meet you over, Zoom, and then we're going to meet in person. Super excited. I wish you nothing but success in everything that you're doing. You're going to be just fine with Fuhgeddaboutit, junk removal. You got to tell me about those cannolis.
There you go, brother.
Dude, I'm Italian too. I keep forgetting. I'm mixed. I'm Hispanic. I'm mixed. I'm a mutt, but hey,
that's a nice mix, man. Hell yeah, that's a good mix.
Yeah.
Right there.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for having me on. Till next
time.
Have
a great night, brother. Talk to you later.
Bye.